Welcome back to Creating Wealth Consciousness. I'm Jennifer Blanchard, the Feel Good Life Coach. And in this episode, I wanted to share the habits of wealthy people, or the habits of people who have wealth consciousness. And it's going to be interesting because you've probably, if you're interested in stuff like this, you've probably read books about wealthy people habits or watched other videos talking about what the habits are of wealthy people. You know, they get up early and they work really hard and they take time off and they exercise every day and blah, 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 right? And yeah, I'm not saying those things aren't true. And a majority of the people in this world who are wealthy and who have wealth consciousness most likely do have those habits. But that is a limiting belief to think that you have to have other people's habits in order to be wealthy yourself. Total nonsense. There are no prerequisites for you being wealthy other than one thing. And that is the habit that all wealthy people have, that all people who have wealth consciousness have. And that is the habit of thinking wealthy. So when you have wealth consciousness, it's a mindset. You think wealthy. You think different things that are going to help you to feel wealthy, right? So you create the feeling of wealth inside yourself and you take action from a place of believing and feeling and thinking wealthy. So you're taking actions that align with you being the wealthy version of yourself, that align with you thinking thoughts that are about abundance, because that's what it is, right? That's wealth, abundance, and having more than enough of it. So when you think wealthy, you have the habit that other wealthy people have, and at some point you will also have the financial wealth to match it and anything else that you desire to have that feels like wealth to you. So it's really all about creating the habit of thinking like the wealthy version of yourself. And the way to do this is to really just ask yourself, if I was already that version of me, right? So if I already had the money, had the relationship, had the success, had the whatever it is you desire to have, what would I be doing every day, right? How would I be thinking? What feelings would I be feeling on a day-to-day basis? What would the majority of my focus be put on, right? Where would I be spending my time? What things would I be doing? And then act as that version of you. Do the things you would do. Say the things you would say. Be that version of you. And as you do that, you start to step into the wealthy version of you who has the habit of being wealthy. And it's really just about, oh, hello, dog. It's really just about thinking wealthy. So there isn't any other habit that every single wealthy person in the world has other than that. Now, yeah, like I said, the majority of them might have a lot of those other habits you've heard people share before, you know, getting up early and all that stuff. And those are fine. And those are definitely great things to do if you want to do them. But don't put conditions on you being wealthy. Don't put conditions on you having wealth consciousness, because it's not necessary. And most importantly, if you can just change your mindset, everything else will start to shift and you can still do a lot of the things you do right now, right? So just think wealthy. Think as somebody who believes in abundance, who believes that abundance is natural, normal, expected, desired, like deserved, because it is. And you absolutely get to be the wealthy version of yourself, even if your physical reality doesn't currently have the money to show for it, right? You first have to create that feeling of wealth, that mindset of wealth. And once you do that, it will start to show in your physical reality. But the physical reality is effect, and it is the last thing that happens in the manifestation process. Whereas the cause, the thing that makes it show up, is your internal world. It's how you feel. It's the beliefs you have. And then, of course, the actions you take or don't take because of that stuff. But it always starts on the inside as a feeling. And wealthy people, people with wealth consciousness, have the feeling of wealth inside themselves, have the feeling of abundance inside themselves. It's subconscious programming at this point for them. So it is just who they are. It is their identity, and they don't think anything of it. And when they do things in their life, they do it from a place of abundance, of more than enough, of wealth, because that is who they are and that is how they think. They wouldn't ever think to do something that isn't in alignment with that, because that's not who they are. And so you need to do the same thing. If you want to be wealthy, if you want to have wealth consciousness, you have to start acting as, thinking as, believing as the version of you who is wealthy, who has wealth consciousness. And I guarantee there are things that you would be doing as that version of you that you're not doing right now. So that is your tip for today is to start to step into that version of yourself. Start to think as that person, act as that person. So as an example, just for quick clarity on anything. So as an example, let's say like the wealthy version of you would always fill your gas tank when you go to the gas station, right? You wouldn't just put $10 in or $20 in here and there. You would just fill it up every time. Well, then every time you go to the gas station, fill your tank up. You're acting as the wealthy version of yourself. And the wealthy version of yourself doesn't worry about what it costs for a tank of gas because you know you've got it and you're good to go. So act as that version of you and fill your tank. Do things like that all throughout your life and all throughout your day, and you will start to see your outside world and your external reality shifting so quickly because you are now acting in alignment with the version of you who has wealth, who has abundance, who has more than enough. So that is it for this episode. I will see you guys very soon. And until next time, remember, feeling good is the point and the path.